on. Okay, today I'm gonna tell you a little story about my past. This is my therapy. Okay, it's not that I want to relive the past. People always talk shit about people talking about the past, but there's some things that happen like I want to say kind of supernatural. Like one, I just remembered some of these recently too. I had put them behind, and like I guess they resurfaced and. They were memories that I had totally forgotten, or I don't know, just didn't want to remember probably, and they're resurfacing. The point is that that's the only way I deal with this stuff is as they come up, I deal with them. So one of them was when I was first going to go to El Paso, when I first, started talking to the karmic ex, the most tragic, the most toxic relationship I ever was in. This recent one that I left, well, that karmic we talked for like a few months off of Facebook and stuff like that. We hadn't seen each other in like 30 something years since high school. He married somebody else and I was married to somebody else. So when we decided to talk for a few months, he tells me to come to El Paso and blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. And so I planned for this trip and everything, got my car ready and everything, and started driving down there because I love road trips and I like to drive. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but it's like a 21-hour drive. So I'm on my way getting there, and I'm almost there, probably just like maybe 5 to 6 hours outside of maybe New Mexico, close to being to Texas. And as I get there, the radio comes on telling me that there's going to be this horrible storm coming about, and that I'll probably in this little rinky-dink town, like a ghost town, I'll probably lose signal. So as I'm passing this town, I go a little past the town, right, and I start to speed. And as I get back into the regular speed limit, which is probably like 75, I'm not too sure, 75. Um, there's this diesel truck that I passed earlier going through that town. It starts to come up close by, and I had this weird, eerie feeling about this truck, right? I don't know why. I just had this eerie feeling. So as I'm driving, I felt it come like it was gonna try to hit me, like hit me to the side and knock me. I felt like it was gonna try to do something, right? The weather changed, everything cloudy and gloomy, and it was weird. Like it's like if I wasn't supposed to leave, like I was supposed to stay, or something was trying, some force, which I think to this day was didn't want me to leave. So when I left, so when I'm driving, this big old 18 wheeler, whatever, diesel truck comes really close to me, and I felt it. And I swear to God, as I turned around to look, I literally saw some kind of force, like Destination, that movie. I honestly saw some kind of supernatural force. I couldn't see behind it. I didn't see behind it. I just saw it got lifted up like this, up in the air, over my head, over my vehicle. As I passed it, I just kept going. I didn't even stop, didn't look back, but I looked back in my rearview mirror and on my side view mirror. And as I seen it, it was just flipping like this back and over and over, and it went bam. And when it hit the asphalt, you just heard it go. It just like stopped. But I just kept driving. I didn't stop to see if the person was okay or anything, because it scared the shit out of me, to be honest with you, because I felt like it was something else either driving it or some evil force was trying to hurt me or something. Like I went into like Terminator mode and all these other movies that I had seen in the past. And I just kept going. But before I went into that mode, I was talking to the karmic on the phone. I said, I'm getting a weird feeling. They said the weather's going to go bad and there's bad storm coming. And so if I lose signal, it's, I didn't on purpose hang up on you. This isn't that. This was like something due to the signal and the weather. And right when I said that, that's when this diesel was coming up next to me. And I said, wait a minute, I got to go. There's something going to happen. And I'm like, oh my God. Because he literally said he heard me say that. And then we got cut off. And then that was like one of the first experiences that I experienced, right? To this day, I don't know if that person ever lived. I don't even know if it was real or it was just like something that came in through a portal and like was trying to do something to me at that moment or that time, or some kind of I don't know how to say it, like I felt like a portal, something opened up and this thing or whatever it was trying to kill me at that moment, at that time. I was supposed to die in a car accident, right? So that should have already warned me there not to come see this dude. So then, as we go on, into this relationship, within weeks, of course, the domestic starts right away. He's trying to kick me out, blah blah blah. After I spent all my money, after he had a good old time and all this BS, right? I'm like, I ain't going that easy, man. I spent all this money, and you're not gonna just, and let me gather up money again, and then I'll leave. Of course, it never happened. We stayed together and all this, and of course, he went down for domestic and all this crap because within 3 weeks he was trying to hit me with a boulder rock or some shit, trying to bash my head in. Anyways, and so after that, like I met weird people through him. Like I should have known, but I didn't. Like every person that I met was up to no good against me. Like everybody was in on this idea, plan, plot, but me. Took me a long time to realize this because I trusted people so wholeheartedly, and especially I trusted him. Because at the time I thought I loved him. I thought it was love. So then, as it goes on, he introduced me to this cousin that I didn't know at the time that he was banging. I don't know. It was his cousin's wife, but he had died, and so here he is taking care of the family, supposedly, keeping it in the family, and it's just sick. I look back to this incest crap of him. And then those two are up to some no good, she's trying to get me to go to some guy's house because at the time me and him broke up, right? And she let me stay with her because I had nowhere else to go. And so she was one of the first persons that I met. So I got to, she let me stay with her. I didn't know she was drugging me out. She drugged me out for like 2 days because she told me later on that I was asleep for 2 days and that I was snoring and that I brought some demon in with me. And I'm like, what? She goes, you have something with you. It's terrifying my children. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, I swear, she goes, you're breathing heavily, but of these making these sounds that don't sound human. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it turned out is that she was trying to sex traffic me, right? She was combining with other people that were involved in this stuff. I don't know who these other people are. I never met them. I never even tried to because I was scared after that. I was scared off my, it's just everything scared me after that. I started realizing I couldn't trust anybody. And the reason why I say that is because she tried to take me over to somebody's house and they tried to lock the door and the wrought iron door that goes behind the screen door, the front door. They tried to lock me in with the key, and I started spazzing out. I started having an anxiety attack. I started acting like I was going to throw up. So they didn't want me to throw up in the house. So they opened the door, and that was the biggest mistake. When they opened the door and let me out, I ran, never went back, never spoke to that bitch ever again because this girl was up to no good, right? And the whole point that I'm trying to tell you is that every single person that I met, and I don't know why I didn't get the hint. I look back and I'm like, I feel like a fool. But every person he introduced me to were all in on this plan, talking about money. She even told me about $1,000 that supposedly my man owed her and owed all these people. And I looked at her, I'm like, well, what are you trying to say? Am I going to be? Are you guys using me for ransom? Because here I am coming here seeing this guy that I hadn't seen in 30 years. I don't know what kind of deals he's involved in. I don't know who he owes money to. I don't really know anything that much besides 3 months that we spoke on the phone. And I took a chance because, I knew him since we were 10 years old. So I take this chance to come see this guy, which is, I totally blame myself for this, for not using for not using my mind right, following my heart, or I don't know what I was following, or maybe I was in an illusion or a spell for all I know. And so, all this is happening to me, and it's like that's when the distrust starts happening around people. Like I started thinking things because people started drugging me. I mean, she told me that I slept for 2 days, so she drugged me, right? I started realizing what was happening behind next to me. And they kept talking about money. All I heard about was money. And when I got there, I got us some furniture. Like I bought us some furniture, and everybody wanted that furniture. Everybody's like, I want that. He owes us money, and how much does that furniture cost? Because we're gonna collect that furniture. And I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, listen here, man. I came into this relationship not knowing this guy's past. I know nothing of who he owes money to, nor is it any of my business. Nor should I be the one to have to pay his debt, which I paid a lot of his debt. Trust me, I did. People that he owed money to, are people that constantly, in the drug, like in like the little drug system or whatever you want to call it, there in the town. He owed people money, his little connections, and so of course I had to pay these people because I didn't want no problems for me. So therefore, I paid his dues or whatever, and his debt. And to this day, he don't remember any of that crap, does he? It took us out of a lot of situations that I probably would have made it. But at the time, thinking clearly and wisely sometimes for both of us because he's an idiot, it was like I look back to it and I'm like, I can't believe that some of the things that I have survived. You know, like the situation, I just barely made it through the hair of my chin, but I made it, and that's all that matters is that I freaking made it to this point. And I don't care how much money they put on my head, how much I was worth. I don't even give a shit. I was living in total what's the word for it? I've never had my nerves so bad to the point where uh, I mean, I couldn't even, the minute it get dark and people start knocking at the door, I would tell them, don't answer the door, don't answer the door, don't let them in, don't let them in, because I really felt like they were coming in to do something. Somebody came in one time with the gun, but he couldn't do anything. He fell on the floor. You know how God says, no weapon shall form against you? Well, I've had a couple of times where their guns have fallen right literally in front of me on the ground and their bullets, and they couldn't do nothing about it. And I just saw them, and I was going to run one of them over one day. I was like, I'm going to run you over, man. Can't believe you're going to come over here and try to do something like that. This is when it started getting a little crazy. They started messing with my vehicles. Every time somebody was breaking into my vehicles, I know my man was part of it. They were doing something to the alarm system to where I couldn't even lock my car. They're messing with my tires. My tires were always flat. It's like they were going to do something to me that night. So they start messing with my tires. They start messing with anything with my car. Like it wouldn't start, the battery. I was constantly like I couldn't sleep at night. I had to be out there, or I had to have the bedroom closest to where my car was parked. Then I started getting cameras, and when I started getting cameras, why should I get cameras? And this guy was the minute I fall asleep, he turn around and get the camera system or get my phone and change it up and change it to him to where he had he could check anything he wanted with the cameras, and it just got to the point where the whole point is this whole conversation is about trust, or my trust completely just banished, for certain people. And or I've learned to, if I don't feel something or an instinct or anything about somebody, I'm gonna go with it. And it can be rude to be, may seem rude, a bitch, snobby, whatever you want to call it. But I have my own ways, and I have every right because of the people that I never know who I'm going to come across. You understand? I don't know who I'm going to come across and who's out to hurt me, whose intentions. Everybody has an intention and agenda, and everybody has supposedly, or I hate to say it like this, but most humans have a price that they're willing to go for. And when it has to do with cash, it's almost selling your soul to the devil. So, excuse me if I come off self absorbed, stuck up, or a bitch. It's just that I went through a lot of shit, and I'm not saying that anybody else has, but the fact that I can sit here and tell you these stories is like, I don't know how to tell you. I mean, I've been lucky. I mean, they're still probably trying to get me and still, but I don't know. Like, God, I don't have no more fear. I lived in fear, constant fear, PTSD to no other end. I mean, sometimes I still have it. I still have like the jitteries and the jumpiness, and can't relax for very long. I can't relax around strangers or people I don't know. I'm sure I need to be on meds. Just a lot of anxiety all my life. I mean, I've had it as a kid because I was abused, but then it just escalated to an adult to where it never got taken care of. And if I'm bipolar, they say, then it's never really been dealt with. So when I tell you these stories about my life, it's because as that day or today, I was thinking about these memories. They popped up. I wasn't thinking about them, and I don't look for these memories to pop up out of my head or out of my brain for the day. They just do. And when they resurface, I deal with them. You have to. Whether it makes you sad, angry, makes you realize the extreme people will go for fucking money. Nobody matters to people anymore. Everybody's got a price over their head. I meant nothing to nobody at one time. Money was always a thing. All the people talked about me. It was about money. Oh, her husband makes good money. Oh, because this jerk would tell people, this karmic would tell people, oh, she's got like this lucky streak. She's got like gifts. She's got these gifts about her. There's something special about her. He'd go and tell people things about me. I tell him, don't tell people my secrets because they're going to use it against me. And that's exactly what he was doing. And This is somebody that I trusted. He was the first person that I ever told him about certain things, that my gifts and certain things that I started realizing in supernatural or with God. He was one of the first people and the only person, honestly, that I've ever expressed myself to like that. And so I trusted this person wholeheartedly with my whole life. It's just as much as I trusted my own children and my family. Now, did I ever think that all these people would be combining and think about money more than anything in the world? Okay, a life didn't matter. These people, why? Because she's an addict. She's an addict. What good is this addict in the world? She's just taking up air and space, right? Let's just be gone with her and take her money. And that's what this karmic was doing with all these people, trying to sex traffic me to some, I don't know to who. I never met the people. I just know that these people would come around and they were really shady and weird looking and act really weird. One time I was asked if I was a donor. Who the hell asked somebody if they're a fucking donor the first time they meet them? You know, just like this guy was from Juarez, Mexico, and was a police officer from Juarez, Mexico for like 20 something years. And now he was in the US, well, in El Paso across the border. And I'm like, what am I supposed to think of this guy? You know, I mean, common sense after a while, you know. And then these guys are always trying to like. And then my man at the time, I call my man, he's not my man. The karmic was always accusing me of effing these people, having sex with these people. It's like, dude, I barely give it up to you. What makes you think I'm gonna give it up to these weirdos? I mean, I've always been particular with sex and certain, but with him, I don't know what happened with the karmic. I don't know what the hell. Like I said, I don't know if I was under a spell or what, but I look back to him and I'm like, what did I see in him? Maybe it's just a friendship. Maybe he won me over by his voice and talking to him on the phone for 3 months and establishing a friendship, because love to me is deeper than the outside, what you look like on the outside, you know. But I really don't know, because I look back to him and it's like he got worse in those 5 years that I was with him. He became a monster. Like I don't even know who he is, and he's not even like the same person he portrayed himself to be the first year. It's like he couldn't hold back his true identity or his true self. After a year and a half or so, I started figuring out it wasn't going to get any better. That this guy was not changing. This was really probably who the fuck he was. In reality, I was with a freaking demon that was just trying to just you know annihilate me. I can't say the word. That was just trying to make me disappear along with everybody else. And so being with this guy, I mean, he was throwing hits at me all the time. That's how I started figuring out that I knew he was involved with it. And plus, I seen a video on his phone one time talking about the price. Like it was like 5,000 for me and 5,000 for my son. And I showed him the fucking video and I showed him that. He's like, no, 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 no. Oh man, you're just crazy, because he deleted it and tried to make me out to be that I was high and and psycho, like everybody else tries to say. But I ain't. Trust me, I ain't. I'm on it. So, anyways, I just want to give you a little history about that, and because it was in my mind, I was on my mind. Like I tell you, I deal with stuff as they resurface, because they're memories that I suppressed and or repressed or suppressed, whatever the word is, man. The current, and I've never really been to therapy, and I never really been to psychiatrists. And not that I say that it's bad or good or whatever, but this is how up until this point is how I'm showing you and telling you a little bit how I deal with my past, and how when it comes up, I just think about it and analyze and talk about it to God or whatever, and then I start trying to figure out why it happened and why it didn't happen, and who cares. Finally, at the end, I'm like, who cares? It happened, and it is what it is, and I'm still here, and I cry through it, and then I move on. This is called healing. This is exactly how I've dealt with up until this point. It's nothing supernatural. It's nothing impossible to do. This is how I've gotten to this point. So every time something comes up to my life and some kind of pain resurfaces, instead of pushing it to the back of my mind, I just deal with it now, and I go head on with it, and it is what it is. And maybe that day I might be an angry bitch or a sad bitch, sorrow or guilty person, but I go through all the emotions, and then I heal. I heal from them, and I wake up the next day and I'm somebody is going through something else, but this is the way that I heal. This is my therapy. And telling you guys my story is my therapy. So I'll leave it at that for now. There's more stories that I wanted to tell you, but something tells me not to say everything so quickly. And so God bless you all. Know that I love you guys and that you're always in my heart, my prayers. And may God always have mercy on our souls. Amen. Shalom.